Yo, bro.
You were gonna underdress, bro.
What day is it today?
Right up Sunday, baby.
It's
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bread Up Podcast. I'm Julian,
I'm Lucas.
and today we're gonna be hitting you guys with a different video. It's gonna be a little mindset video today. We're gonna be switching it up from the stock content a little bit.
You know us, every other week. It's mindset, stock. Sometimes we throw in some guests, if we're available. And our goal is to continuously bring new guests onto this channel as we grow.
For sure.
That are, young entrepreneurs, in their respective fields. And we're going to be doing that. We have a whole list. We're going to be bringing them in, next few months. So get ready for that.
Well, yeah, no, just going into this video's topics, there's just some things that we thought that, we can share, some things that we have been implementing in our lives personally that have been, whether it's been over the past few years or the past, couple months, that have been just showing real life effects and real progress in our goals and what we want to accomplish. And, we wrote some of these stuff down. Obviously, we're not millionaires trying to tell you guys, the secret formula to being successful, but we're just showing you, little things that you could implement in your daily life that could help you, achieve your goals in a faster
I think
rate.
that's the most important thing is making the point that we aren't saying this is how you should run your life, this stock trading principle or this mindset, because the thing is when it comes down to especially understanding things for personal growth, it's really whatever really works for you. Some aspects work for Julian more than they work for me, something works
100%.
for me. So these aren't prescriptions, more of references, if that helps you understand it. But these lists right here, we're going to share them with you guys, what really helps us get through it, get through life.
Yeah, and we're doing a lot of stuff, we have a lot of stuff that we want to get done, a lot of goals that we have, whether it's every week or every month, and, it's a lot of things to keep track of. And, a couple of videos back, I talked about, always writing out every goal that you want to accomplish very specifically, by hand or in your phone. Have it written down and, have that organized in your head in a way that you can, navigate those goals and make progress in achieving each one of those.
Yeah, and
every day.
And the big thing about today's video is going to be creating an environment that can allow you to become successful. And that's a very open-ended statement, an environment, a world, kind of like your personal sphere. When I say that, Julian, how do you even interpret that?
Well, everyone has an environment, dude. You have to have a positive environment around you in order to, flourish in your, in the work that you want to get done. And, that can be as simple as having, a clean room, right?
For sure.
Making your bed, having a messy room around you if you're working in your room, that could be toxic in your, progress and getting your work done. If your environment around you is, cluttered, messy, unorganized.
Yeah, I think I share that principle with you, is keeping a clean environment.
Yes.
First off, to actually have a better environment, start with a clean environment. Clean up your room, then your house. You're cleaning up your car, bro. I hate when I go into people's cars and there's 18 water bottles in the passenger seat.
Yeah,
if you're one of those people,
that's
you need to cut that out. I'm just kidding, but it's starting with those elements, those principles. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, and this is one of my points. I'm reading a book called The 5 a.m. Club, so I'm on this rush of how to make your mornings productive as fuck. But it's get up early. But we're gonna go through these points one by one right here, and I think we got to start with this, Julian. It's remove toxic people.
Yes.
I think out of all these points, this is the most important. This is step number one in creating, in my opinion, a successful environment for you to prosper. Because how can you become successful? How can you grow if you have people in your circle that don't even want to see you do better than them? Mm-hmm. That's a terrible, and that's so many people I think fall into that trap. You need to have friends that are supporting you.
Yeah,
throughout.
you want to surround yourself with people that, are either, I've been always told, you always want to be the dumbest person in the room because, you want to surround yourself with people that are either, equal to or better or more smart or more experience in life than you or whatever, you know, you don't want to have people that you're the main guy that's doing everything, and you have control over your life, and all your friends are doing nothing, and are the ones that are, and you're the leader here. Like, I'm not saying not be a leader, but you don't want to be the only one in your friend group that is actually, you know, thinking about what they want to do. And
like in the movie Boys in the Hood, that one guy that's gonna go become successful at football star, he's the only one out of the whole. You know, that's not the one you want to be. I mean, that's good for that guy, but like the thing is you want to have a whole group. You want to be surrounded by people that are all wanting to become successful in whatever field they want to do. You can, you know, in real estate, you might have a guy that trades stocks. You know, you want to have guys, you know, if you're in girls, you know, it doesn't matter, like that want to become successful always around you. You know, because when you surround yourself with this success environment of people that just want to be better every single day, by default, you're going to put new standards under yourself. So I think we'll get to that next, but step number one, I think, is removing toxic people completely.
If you have, I mean, I don't think it's you know, super common. You know, I don't know why people would still hang out with people that would be bringing negativity.
But you'd be
life.
surprised, bro. People do.
But I think that, you know, if you see yourself, you know, it happening, and, you know, just remove yourself and get away from it, and, you know, and keep going from that and from then on. And that's just, you know, step one that we're talking about. You know, having a clean environment. You know, toxic people, your toxic surrounding is what, you know, we're really getting at in this section. And you know, whether it's your room, whether it's your car, whether it's your friends, you want to be surrounded by, you know, positivity and people that are going to uplift you.
Exactly.
And, you know, help you improve and accomplish your goals.
And that is one of the first steps in creating a successful, in my opinion, right? This is our recommendations that will kind of work for us, and we'll kind of get into in a little bit, like, what differences, like, in the past year have we made that have made the biggest improvements amongst us both. But yeah, number one is remove toxic people. And then I said the second one I said spend some alone time. And I don't mean like in a weird way, but I mean take some time for yourself. Once you start to remove people that are toxic in your life or that don't work for you, you know, what you want to do, which is fine to be kind of selfish in that way, you know, because, you know, when you're younger, you want to be working towards what you want to do, because when you're older, you're not going to have the same, you know.
And I think that I totally agree with that, because I read something a couple weeks back saying that, you know, being lonely is the, you know, the best way to get your creativity out. And I really believe in having alone time every day. That, you know, a lot of people, they can't go a second without, you know, having someone to hang out with or something like that. And I think that everyone should be able to learn if they're not good at.
So many people are like, they go for a party and they want to hang out with the next person.
With themselves, like have fun with your own company, and have time every day that you spend by yourself, and kind of forcing yourself to make your brain think creatively. And I think that is something that I think everyone should do every day. That's what I've been practicing this past year, is spending some time every day for myself, having alone time to really think about and being creative and write things down. And I think that could improve a lot of people's. Because
in those moments, it's kind of like, you heard of the thought like shower thoughts before? Like the reason why shower thoughts are a thing is like your most it's you being, that's kind of like what happens when you meditate. It's spending time by yourself. You're not even talking to people. When I say spend alone time, I don't mean like even with your parents or your brothers or sisters. I'm talking about you by yourself for an hour minimum a day. Like, so it helps to do it earlier in the morning, because usually there's not much going on earlier, but it can be any time of the day. What works for me is early in the morning. And it's literally reading a book. And I was going to say, there's another point, so we're going to get to is reading more stuff. But reading a book, writing down some of your goals, just spending time listening to music by yourself. Because all of a sudden, you literally will have epiphanies and ideas you didn't have before when you were with people. Because when you're around people, like, you have all this stimuli, all these, you know, people talking, going to that thing, going to that party, talking to that girl. It becomes very cluttering in the mind, and it takes, you know, time alone, whether it's reading or meditating, whatever, to kind of reset the dial and bring yourself into the present.
Yeah.
And you become a more stable person, I think. You know?
Yeah, I know. I think that, you know, what we do when we hang out with a lot of people all the time, and, you know, if you're on Instagram and Snapchat a lot, you end up comparing what you're doing in life to everyone around you. And I think that that's where having an hour a day by yourself, not on social media, unless you're using it in a way to do a business type thing, but not be looking at any of your peers or any of your friends or anything and worried about what they're doing. Because I think that even if it's subconscious, people are always looking at what their friend's doing and get upset. They're like, oh, why am I not doing that? And why am I not doing this? And he's doing that. Yeah. And that whole mindset. And that's where this being alone and and getting rid of this, distraction of looking at like everyone else.
Yeah,
It
social
kind of
media
forces you to just focus on your own life.
definitely. Like, I think social media is a whole different topic for another day. We can have a whole podcast talking about the pros and cons of like social media, Instagram
Yeah.
and stuff. But no, right now
For
so
sure.
far so good that I think we can both agree on is removing toxic people and spending some more alone time. My next point, I said read more. What do you think on that?
Oh yeah, no, reading is incredible. I think
Yeah.
everyone knows that reading is essential to learning new words. If that's just the bare minimum that you get out of reading, is just increasing your vocabulary. And I don't like reading, to be honest, that much. I honestly really struggle with reading a lot, but I do read a lot of informative things online. I enjoy that the most. But
Yeah.
I know you love reading books.
Bro,
And you're
yeah,
really into the
I used
book
to
stuff.
I used to not read at all, bro. I literally didn't read shit. Like I
Yeah.
literally hated reading because school made me hate reading, and that sucks, bro. School makes a lot of people hate reading.
Made me, really.
And honestly, I think that's the biggest thing with you is like school made you hate reading, But what opened my mind was I started reading books that applied to my life, and a lot of them were like mindset books, books about. The biggest book that got me into everything was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and he's self-improvement communications coach from the 1900s. Great guy, great mindsets, but that led me to all these different self-improvement books and betterment, and take those stuff with a grain of salt, but those books really help you reset. But anything, I'm talking about good literature. Those reading just helps you get new ideas that you wouldn't have gotten from other sources. Even reading informative news. I'd say be careful of news because you got to be careful where you're getting it. But reading in general, if you're not reading articles, if you're not subscribed to a newsletter of some sort, the paper or a book, you need to get into it. No successful person doesn't read.
Yeah, I think we'll make a video later about
Stuff that we
specific books that we want to
idea.
recommend. Because I've read a
Stay
couple
tuned.
books that I really like. Some of Gary V's books.
Gary V.
Some people on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
There's some books I think we should make a video on.
Definitely.
Just maybe like 10 books that.
We gotta write
There's
that
a bunch
down.
of books that that everyone knows that you hear, like Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad, but stuff like that. But I think from being 19-year-olds, I think we could have a really honest perspective on 10 books to read.
Yeah, dude,
at
that's
that
perfect.
age.
We got to make that a list
But,
after this podcast. That's a great
reading
idea.
is definitely something that everyone needs to start doing, and I need to get better at myself. And
Yeah, it all starts with reading stuff though that you like to read. Like don't read shit. Like you don't. It's like for example, watching movies. You don't need to watch a shit movie. You don't need to watch the whole hour and a half. If it's 10 minutes and you don't like it, skip the movie. Like, you read to 10 pages of a book, it sucks, and you don't like it. You can skip. You just put the book down and go to another book. Change the channel.
Yes.
I think it's super important. Don't put up. We don't have time to just spend time watching things and reading things that don't really apply to us. Or connect with us in any way. So yeah. So far, I think we can both go on is remove toxic people, spend some alone time, and read more. Now I had a new point. This is number 4. I said get up earlier.
Yeah, no, I think we mentioned that a while back on the podcast too.
Yeah.
That we love getting up early every day. It is definitely something that a lot of
Especially
people
right up
struggle
Sundays.
doing. Yeah, no, a lot of people do struggle getting up. Sometimes I feel like 8 a.m. is too early. But living in California, you hear that at 6 a.m. The stock market's open. On the East Coast, if you live on the East Coast, I can see the excuse for why you want to get up at like 8.
Yeah.
But if you live in California on the West Coast,
No
you're
excuse.
behind. You're
You're
behind if
behind.
you wake up at 8, and then that's just the reality of the time zones.
Especially if you're a day trader in Cali, like you got to be getting up early. You can't be slacking. Like I don't really day trade, I swing trade, but like I don't need to be getting up when the market opens. But
Billions of dollars are being made, while you're
Yeah.
sleeping.
So, but things
get up early.
and I think improving the schedule because some people, I've watched a lot of interviews and read a lot of books about so far. Not I've read everything, but I'm very invested in it. All the successful people in a lot of industries, they all tend to get up early. Like that's their thing,
And I'm sure there are people that have slept in and they're billionaires.
Yeah.
But
I'm just
what
saying
we're talking about is most people that we've seen.
What I've seen.
And it's a
Do
pattern.
it. And it's what we do. It's not like we're like this is not shit that we don't do. Like this is stuff that me and Julian are doing and getting better at that we want to share with you.
And it's not like if you start getting up at 6 a.m., you're gonna just
Start printing money.
seeing like $100 start flowing into your account. That's not what it means either. Like all these things are just things that we're suggesting to apply to your daily life that we have, and we write goals and we've been hitting goals, and we decided to make a video about this because it's just some specific small things that you could just add to your life that takes, very little effort
And
at all.
and it's the fact of getting up earlier. What the hardest part is the getting up. Once you're up in the bed, right, you might still be so groggy, like, shit, dude, why am I up right now? Just go take a shower, and then you'll be up. And guess what? Now it's like 7 a.m., and now guess what? You have 5 hours till noon. You have 5 hours of productivity. Let's say you have work at 10 a.m. You have 3 hours now to get shit done before you even go to work. 2 hours if you're 9 a.m. But it doesn't matter. The point is, it allows you more time to do what you want to do. And that's what makes, you can be more successful because you can get more done in a day. You have more hours now. So yeah, getting up earlier, that's a big topic. Next up, I think we can honestly tie this. It's just get friends that are better than you, who are better than you.
We mentioned that, but I think, the whole environment thing is very important. How you do your work, like in the environment that you're doing your work in, the surroundings, it adds such a, like I specifically, we go to a very nice hotel sometimes in the lobby outside to do specific work for a couple hours because that environment is a productive environment for us and for me. And, being in my room necessarily, or if my, family's being loud or stuff like that, there's always a way to get out and go somewhere where your environment could be productive.
Exactly. It's like coffee shops and cafes and stuff. That's why people go get work done there, which is like, they don't know it yet, but what they're doing is they're giving them a successful environment to become successful, or surround themselves in a good environment that they can become prosperous in. And it's all very, is it subjective or objective? Subjective for the individual, So depending on who you are, being in a loud environment might help. Being in very quiet, intimate ones might really help you become. So like he said, we go to a hotel that's right here in Carlsbad. It's beautiful, and it's outside, and they let you use the lobby. You feel encompassed just by, an amazing setting, and it literally makes you feel better and more, prosperous inside. I guess makes you feel good. So that's the first step, honestly. So. Yeah. And the last thing I said on here, it's kind of open-ended, and it's kind of up for your interpretation and mine, and it's get more disciplined. Get more disciplined. And this applies to, like, habits. Like
100%.
I think, dude, discipline is so hard. It's the hardest thing. But it's really what separates the haves from the have-nots, Like, I think because at 19-year-olds, bro, we have the worst discipline in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, we're getting up late, we're going to parties, people are getting hammered at night, like whatever.
Well, a discipline would be included in, like, getting up early would be like, that's a form of self-discipline. Yes. And, maybe like cleaning your room and making your bed every day and holding yourself accountable for something, whether it's something, and whether it's that in making your bed or in the stock market trading and having a discipline, like discipline yourself by, taking your profits and cutting losses. Like that's how we be talking about, in this podcast every week. Self-discipline is essential, and it's hard. Huge. It's hard. You just gotta figure out how to apply it, with whatever you're trying to do.
And it's kind of like what we talked about a couple weeks ago. It was this law of delayed gratification. It's like what you do now will not help. You won't see it tomorrow, like the results, but we will see it in a year from now or 6 months from now. But it's the daily disciplines. It's the making of the bed. The brushing of the teeth, the morning workout.
And it just makes your day feel more structured and more positive in your mind. It's just what I have experienced, he's experienced, and a lot of people have experienced the same thing when they apply this, making your bed every day. Like you hear it all the time, but when you actually do it and you feel like that sense of like organization, it is worth it, and it adds a positivity.
Yeah, there's this one video that made me want to do it, and it's kind of a famous viral video. It's like that Sergeant General guy, and he was like, make your bed every morning. Well, like, I was like, oh, this is stupid. But then I started doing it, and he was right, because what it allows you to do is one thing is done in the day. Like, your check off, done, one thing. So if everything goes to shit the whole day, but you made your bed, at least you did something. Some people can't even make their bed.
Mm-hmm. And if you've had that shitty day, and you come home to a clean bed, and it makes you, everyone has a feeling when they go home, and it's been a weird day, and your room's just a mess, and it just is this weird, you get just like depressed all of a sudden.
Yeah. And I think also what a big thing is, like, how I interpret disciplines is controlling what you can control to the fullest. Like working out, making your bed. Like those things you can control with your life to a minute detail will make all the difference in the world, So that's kind of what I interpret it. It's controlling what you can control, but to the fullest. Because a lot of things are out of our control. Whether or not I get the job interview, whether or not I, make that client happy, whatever. Sometimes it's out of your control. It's up for another person. Those aren't disciplines. Those are kind of what you've done before can set it up. The disciplines help you get to that point. And it's the daily routine of doing it. And that's what gets you there. But Yeah, so let's kind of go over it. We talked about removing toxic people, spending some alone time, reading more, getting up earlier, going to environments and friends that are better than you, make you feel whole. And last but not least, we just said discipline. Those are, in our opinions, and I kind of want to wrap up this podcast episode with what are some things this year, Julian, that you've kind of been doing differently, that you've seen the biggest changes in your life?
Well, I would say just writing out my goals, like having my goals written down. I know it's very basic and simple, but I do like being able to write down what I like right when I have an idea. I used to just kind of think like I'll come up with this idea later, but now and I've been doing this every time I have an idea for anything, like I'm writing that down and I'm gonna record every idea that comes into my head and writing down my goals that I want to achieve each week, whether it's in the stock market or anything. Just writing it down, I heard it before, they say it makes you like 3 times more likely to achieve it if you write it down. But I think that's very true. When you write something down, like you said, like you have a timeline. We're making a film right now, and he's written a timeline. I think you can go into that.
I had a time. Yeah, literally, that's the biggest thing. Is I was going to say the same thing as you. I think we can share this point. It's writing your goals down and what you
100%.
need. And I'm starring but also producing a film with Julian and our good friend Benji Van Zant, who's directing it. And I literally once I had the idea for the movie and the script was not even done yet, I knew I was going to be producing this movie. I've written out literally from the end of February until all the way to July the rough timeline how this is going to go, and so far going perfectly according to plan. And guess what? And I think it's going according to plan because I wrote it down.
You have that timeline.
It's accountability.
Right now.
Like I'm in this office and on this whiteboard, the whole month is written out right here. The whole month's written out, and that's holding yourself accountable right now. But writing down. Honestly, I was going to share that point. That's it. But that does it for me. I mean,
I think that's going to be it for this subject of the podcast.
And it's really how to create the best environment to make you prosperous and successful. And again, this is what works for us and what we like the most and what we've taken from other books that we're currently applying to our lives. And if you can take some of them, you can dismiss some of them. But if you like one of them and we change your mindset on something, that's great. We're doing our jobs here. We're really motivating you to do that. But
subscribe if you are new, the first time seeing us. Hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you have any more questions about anything about the stock market or anything about teenagers trying to do something with your life. If you're doing a business, leave us a comment and we're going to address it in the next video.
Definitely. And then just make sure to follow us on Bread Up Pod on Instagram and then Bread Up Podcasts on YouTube and Bread Up Podcasts on all, I think, streaming platforms we're available on.
Yep.
So please just comment, download it, just listen to us. And if you want to have a topic talked about on us, let us know. Shoot us a DM on Bread Up Pod on Instagram. But that does it for me, man. You good?
It's been it. Yeah, it's been Julian.
Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching, thank you. If you're listening, thank you for listening. Peace out.